Hello everyone, I'm Meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 1 p.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. And we've got news out of Duplin County where an investigation is ongoing into a homicide that happened on Sunday. Officers say they were called to the Wallace Mobile Home Park lane for a shots fired call. There they found a woman who had been shot, and despite EMS efforts, the victim died at the scene. Now, police have yet to release the victim's name or any information about a possible suspect in the woman's death. Anyone with information on the shooting is urged to contact the Wallace Police Department at 910-285-4136. And now we want to turn our attention to the Trump administration that many of Americans are starting to disapprove of the president's handling of major issues. One of those issues is affordability. Another is the challenges that the president is facing, including a deadly attack that happened over the weekend on U.S. service members in the Middle East. NBC's Garrett Hake has more.
This morning, President Trump vowing retaliation after a deadly ambush-style attack on American service members in Syria.
We had 3 great patriots terminated by bad people, and not the Syrian government. It was ISIS. There will be a lot of damage done to the people that did it.
Defense officials say 2 soldiers and a civilian interpreter died when a lone gunman opened fire. 3 others were wounded during ongoing anti-ISIS operations in the country. They say American partner forces later killed the shooter. The killings marking the first known combat deaths of President Trump's second term, and come as the White House faces lingering questions about escalating U.S. operations near Venezuela, including U.S. military strikes on alleged drug trafficking boats that have killed nearly 90 people. And last week's dramatic seizure by the Coast Guard of an oil tanker off the Venezuelan coast.
I don't think that the lives should be lost without a vote by Congress and the people approving of this.
The president's focus abroad comes as a growing number of Americans say they are dissatisfied with his handling of key issues in the U.S., including the economy. Nearly 2/3 of those surveyed in a new NBC News Decision Desk poll say they think the country is headed on the wrong track. And with less than a year before the midterms, a slight majority now say they trust Democrats over Republicans when it comes to handling the price of everyday items. Voters we met in Pennsylvania deeply frustrated.
He ran on lowering prices, on beating inflation.
He ain't do it. Everything went up. Ain't nothing went down.
The president on Sunday again accusing Democrats of creating a false narrative.
Affordability, they keep saying affordability. Well, they're the ones that caused the problem.
And again, that was Garrett Hake reporting. We now want to turn to your weather forecast. It is a cold day today. Air temperatures starting to get to, in a few areas, even above freezing. It's taken most of the day so far. Certainly all of the AM hours were spent below freezing today across most of eastern North Carolina. Right now, we've got 32 degrees in Greenville. Comes with a north-northwesterly wind at 7 miles an hour. That's making 32 feel more like 26. It is cold out there, and it will remain cold overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Current air temp in Grifton, 30 degrees, northerly wind blowing in at around 9 miles an hour. Dew points right now down in the single digits. It is not only cold, but the air is very dry. So please don't do any burning today. Winds are also a bit blustery, about a 7 to 15 mile per hour breeze. But current air temperatures again across most of the east sitting right around the freezing point. Low 30s currently across the east. Normal this time of year, we'd be looking at air temperatures in the upper 50s to low 60s. Well, we're finally going to be above that number coming up later on this week. So if these air temperatures and this wind has got you down, not to worry, we've got more heat on the way. Right now, winds continue to relax, still coming in out of the north, but now at around a 5 to 10 mile per hour range versus the 7 to 15 mile per hour breeze we had earlier this morning. Let's zoom the picture out a little bit further, and we can see we've got an area of high pressure off our coast. That one's not really going to have much of an impact. It's the one moving in to eastern North Carolina that certainly is going to have a little bit more influence over what we see outside over the next few days. That high will keep the winds out of the north intact coming up for tomorrow. They're just going to be significantly lighter winds, and in fact, through the day on Tuesday, that high is going to be passing over North Carolina and over Virginia, then moving offshore as we head into Wednesday. That will produce more of a southerly breeze, and that's going to help bring air temperatures up for not only Wednesday, but for Thursday, Friday, and potentially even Saturday as well. We've got even more heat on the way coming up for Sunday. Let's jump right to that 8-day forecast. 34 today, 49 tomorrow, 60 degrees by Wednesday. Going to be above average across the board coming up on Thursday. Looking forward to it. Overnight lows down below freezing for tonight, tomorrow night, and then above freezing for Wednesday night. We'll see another round of cold air try to work into the east coming up late Friday night into Saturday. Brief stay, not going to amount to much. We will have more heat, though, coming up on Sunday. Mid to upper 60s planned. If you're not a fan of the cold weather, classic eastern North Carolina forecast here, wait a few days and you will get something different. Well, that's all we have time for today's 1 p.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Till then, have a fantastic rest of your Monday.